social media. Why? It's already lies. Nolan, I'm so sorry. Why you scrub your social media? Why? Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, 18 years young, football dreams in his hands, out on Horn Island with the so-called friends. Boat trip for the 4th, celebrating life, but he never made it back, left in the night. Mama posted, calling for help on the net, 2 days searching, heart full of pain. Now the body found, but the story don't add up. Phone left behind, strong swimmer. What the fuck, something just not right. The silence deafening, scrubbing timelines, deleting, no confessing. Nolan Wells, copper spirit shining bright. Most High knows the truth in the pale moonlight. Family grieving, but they standing tall. Been crump on the case, demanding justice for y'all. Why you scrub your social media? Why? Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, Nolan's Wells family, please excuse me. I know you're grieving, but good God, this don't make sense to me. Baby in the water, how he end up there alone. Friends came back without him, stories changing on the phone. Independent autopsy coming, truth gon' rise. Toxicology, deleted messages, no more lies. Mississippi Delta ancestors watching close. We walk together, can't let another young king ghost. Them folks ain't kinfolk, hold yourself accountable. If it's foul play, speak now, make it audible. Peace be still in the storm, but justice first for Nolan. For the family, excuse my burst. Oh, Nolan, I'm so sorry. Your light still shines. My God bless you, may he protect you. Justice for your son, your baby. Something just not right. Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. The Most High sees it all, no hiding in the dark. Hell no, we demanding answers while you scrub your social media. Oh, it's already lies. Just tell us what really happened to Nolan. How did he get in that water? Oh, Mississippi, stand up right now. Why the hell they so silent? If you know you didn't do it, and if you can prove it, just say it out loud. Oh, Nolan, I'm so sorry. Justice for Nolan. We all we got, ancestors never left. Mississippi, stand up. Ooh, peace be still. Truth first, Nolan Wells, your story ain't over. Justice for Nolan.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so now let's get ready to get into it because Nolan's parents went on Don Lemon's show. So we're going to check that out. But also, his friend Javon Williams was on TMZ. And they were asking him if he thought that it was about race. And he said he didn't want to answer that question, but he kind of did answer it. But in my opinion, he didn't want to answer it because I don't think he wanted to upset his white friends. Now, that's just my opinion. Okay, so we're going to get into it. All right, so hello, youngest turnip. Deronda, Queen Amona Huey, Miss Peaches is here. All right, Juju, Aquarius MC, Aquarius Rising. Hold on, did I see Aquarius MC and Aquarius Rising? No, that's Aquarius Rising. My bad. Okay, Pretty Wings. Okay, Real Eyes recognize real lies. Oh, yes, they do. Ebony is here. All right, Lurk Squad. Nessa G. Okay, let's get into it. Love Christie. All right. Lano Rex is here. Angie Sargent said Queen has the best songs. Thank you, beloved. Shout out to Truth Brown because that was a song that she did. Okay. Take Heed is here. Okay, Deronda, let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button, like, share, subscribe, and all of that. Now, before we get started, hey, Buckhorse DC, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. I see you, Trisha, Pretty Wings, Nene. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil. Okay, so now we're going to go to the TMZ. It was just a brief interview, less than 4 minutes when they spoke to Javon. But also, I'm seeing right here, it says, hold on. New twist, Nolan Wells mystery. This was 2 hours ago. New evidence surfaces. That's also from TMZ. So we're going to check that out. And then we're going to listen to Don Lemon. And I have some recordings from the TikTok lives that I was in. One of them got so ghetto. It was just ridiculous, like straight from the hood. And I had to get out of there because it just wasn't my cup of tea. Okay, they were making threats, talking about rolling up, pulling up on people and all of this. I'm like, okay, I got to go. Okay, so anyway. It was all crazy and clearly nefarious. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. I'm really glad that his parents that they're doing all of these interviews and things because it's really important that they keep his story out there and also that they don't allow, okay, that judge to paint the narrative, to control the narrative, because that's what she's trying to do. When she's coming out saying that she's speaking because she's trying to clear up rumors, well, she knows why those rumors are persisting because everyone is looking at them like, okay, y'all are not telling the whole truth. What are you hiding? And many of us just think that they're flat out guilty. Okay, so they want to control the narrative as they tried to do with the Carmelo Anthony case. All right, but we're not going to allow them to do that. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. I'm going to put an overlay on here because y'all know that TMZ will give you a copyright claim or a strike. Okay, here we go.
The video that's been going around social media where people think that they're hearing an argument between people and they're wondering whether or not Nolan is one of the people in that argument. You just described that you had another friend, not Nolan, another friend who was in and got into a dispute. Is that video the other argument that you were talking about?
Yes.
So, but is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away. But in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear. Like from the side, it's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, like, as he was in that altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it. So
describe that. That's kind of interesting. What was that about?
he was just very hostile. Like he was just like really like mad. Like they were just trying to, like, the parents on that boat were trying to get him out.
I'm curious if the police have. I know they said they're still investigating. Did any investigators ever speak to you about what you saw that day?
No, sir.
Really?
Okay.
Cops have not talked to you yet.
No, sir.
That's odd.
I don't see why the cops would have. I don't see why the cops would have to talk to me. I mean, obviously, like, you know, like I had said my plea, like, because whenever I had talked to the people at Sunherd, it was whenever, you know, the body was discovered, and the autopsy people and the all those people were there.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm surprised, because you knew Nolan well, and you knew that he was friends with these guys who were the last ones to be around him before his body was found. And I would think they would at least want to know, hey, just the things we're asking.
Right.
You know, did you ever hear of any of this stuff? It's odd to me.
Just to gather information.
Yeah, that the cops wouldn't have contacted you. Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I'm completely fine with that. Like I said, I have nothing to hide. Like, that's my boy, and I want him to find justice. Like that, like this whole case thing, like whatever, like this whole situation, and none of this adds up to me. So like, it's really hard, like, for like people to just like keep on saying things when like none of it adds up, honestly.
So one of the things that I'm sure, Javon, you've seen has been a big part of this story, people making the point that, at least in the photos that we initially saw, that Nolan was the only African-American kid who was out there, at least on that boat. Do you think, having been there on the island with this large group of people, that race plays a factor in whatever happened here?
Again, I don't want to answer that. I don't want to answer that question. I wouldn't say, like, yeah, I wouldn't want to answer that question. I mean, obviously, we go to Ocean Springs. We're going to have white friends. So, like, that's, I mean, I guess it's pretty normal down here, but.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear you. If that's, I guess you're saying that it's normal. It's not out of place to be a black teen in that area and that you have white friends, right? That's not uncommon, is what you're saying.
I'm sure every black person has white friends somewhere, you know? So I wouldn't say that it's a whole race thing, but it's just like, obviously they're going to paint it as that because none of this adds up.
I want you all to pay attention. That young man was trying, in my opinion, you all can tell me what you think, but in my opinion, he was trying to choose his words carefully, and he didn't want to answer that race question, okay? Dario says he's still blind. Trisha says, boy, hush. Why are y'all going in on the poor kid? I don't. Gregory said, hang in there. D Major said he tried hard, LOL. Y'all are so nefarious. Here's the thing. Listen, he is a teenager. He has white friends that he likes. He doesn't want to upset them clearly. So he does not want to admit that it's a race issue. That's just my opinion. That's right. Spiritual Gangster said he has to live there. Okay, he doesn't want people mad at him, but I think that he absolutely knows darn well it was a race issue. But pay attention to what he said, though. He said things are not adding up. Okay, he knows it's not adding up. Okay, he knows it isn't adding up. Okay, so anyway, let me read some of these comments. Carlette says he thinks white people are complimentary. You all are something else. Roland Thunder said they're not his friends, but he thinks they are, clearly. Regina said, girl, that sounds like he's scared and don't want to be involved. That's what that sounds like to me. I mean, I don't know if he's scared. I just think he does. You know, that could be possible, beloved. Okay. Why Hill said, if Nolan is your boy, tell the damn truth. Okay, so here's the thing. You can tell he's naive. He's a teenager, right? You can tell he's naive because when Harvey Levin asked him if the police had spoken to him yet, he said no, and he didn't see why the police would speak to him. Well, of course, the police should have spoken to him. He's a friend. He was Nolan's best friend, supposedly, and he knew the other people involved. So that's a good question. Why haven't the police spoken to him if they're doing an investigation? It's been days after now. They should have spoken to him by now, and other people as well. Okay. But anyway, him saying that he didn't want to answer that question let me know that he just doesn't want to say that because his friends. At least that's just how I feel about it. Okay, so now let's go to the parents when they were on Don Lemon's show. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. This was about 2 hours ago they went on there, and I'm interested to see if they're going to give out any more information. Okay, go to the beginning. All right, here we go. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Real Eyes talking about liar, liar, pants on fire. Y'all are just wrong, okay, on so many levels. Hold on.
Up. Please hit that because that affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation in our channel. I want to bring in now Miss Christine and Mr. Elmore Wansley, Nolan Wells' mother and father, who we have been watching handle this with dignity, and also Ben Crump, their attorney, is with them. Thank you guys for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you holding up, Miss Christine?
Barely. Just second by second. Just trying to navigate this as best as I can.
Yeah. Mr. Elmore, how are you holding up?
The same. Taking day by day, doing it together. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Getting through it as a family.
Well, let me just say what the commenter has up on the screen, that you guys are a beautiful family and an example of, I believe, the nuclear American family. And I've just been so impressed with the way that you conducted yourselves, or you're conducting yourselves, and just in awe, knowing what you're dealing with. You got the right person sitting next to you, and we'll tell you that.
Yeah.
You chose the right person.
Thank you.
So I will ask you, before we get into more details, because you've done a number of interviews, and I'm sure it's been a whirlwind and you have to deal with what you're dealing with. Is there anything today that someone...
Excuse me, let me just say something quickly. Don Lemon said you have the right person next to you. Let me tell you all something. For all the people, for all of y'all who be trying to go in on Ben Crump, I guarantee you, if you found yourself in a situation anywhere near any of these types that Ben Crump gets involved with, you would call him too. Okay? All the people who talk trash about this man would call him too, because he's the best at it as far as it concerns monetary compensation and getting things done. Look how quickly he's moving to get this autopsy done and all of that, made arrangements and all of that. And I'm going to tell you something else. Now, Javon Williams, the friend that we just listened to, said that he didn't think that that was Nolan's voice because it was so clear it couldn't have been that far away. But the mother, if I'm not mistaken, didn't she say that that was her son's voice? Okay, but we're going to talk more about that being his voice. We're going to talk more about that momentarily, but let's continue.
did not ask you that you would like to say about what is going on?
That's a good question.
And Ben, maybe it has to do with the investigation. Or Mr. Elmore, go ahead.
We answered a lot of questions. We answered a lot of questions today. I think they came at us with pretty much everything, and we just like you said in the beginning, we just want transparency. We want the truth. That's all. I mean, as parents, you want to know what's happening to your children. You want to know everything, what happened today,
Just all
and
the
everything,
details.
all details.
Mm-hmm. As I watched the press conference today, you guys gave some details that were a bit surprising to me. That
Don, can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear. Can you hear us? You can't hear. Okay. Audio problems, which will not probably fix unless they go out and come back in. So we'll get back to them because they need to go get out and come back in because that's always the case. In the meantime, I want to play a little bit of the press conference as we get them back. Roll it, Andy.
Do him, and whenever you feel like you're in a bind or having some kind of problem, call on your brother, talk to your brother. My twins, the loss of a younger sibling is hurting them. They have to figure out how to navigate through life without them. And my daughter Carly, with her being away, it's really hard for her because she's not around family now. So she's out on her own, doing life what life does, but she's doing it on her own. So she has to do this by herself. We're here, by phone, but we're not there in person. So she really has to draw on the people that's around her when she's not home. So all together, my family, this is going to be our new norm. He was the jester in my court, and yeah, he will be missed greatly, not by us, but by the whole community.
We will announce the funeral services when it is finalized, and we'll be going to help with I will officiate at the funeral in Mississippi. Again, we'll take your questions, but identify who you are, and please be respectful to families in mourning, but because they want justice for their son, they came to New York to make this appeal, but let's not make this a circus. Yes.
Christine there, China from the New York Post. First of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry about the loss of the family. I have a couple of questions. When was the last time you heard from Nolan? What did he say? Was there a call or a text? What was said during that last interaction? And also, how do you know that it's Nolan saying, "Give me my phone"? What are you doing in that video?
Say that last question.
How do you know that it's Nolan saying, "Give me my phone"? What are you doing in that video?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you were the second one is other children who are saying it was Nolan. Yeah.
So the last time we spoke and saw Nolan was July the 3rd. He actually cooked dinner for me, actually for us, because I had gotten off work. It's been really busy. And so he cooked dinner. It was salmon. He baked it. So proud. And then after that, he was just like, "Hey, Mom, I'm about to go."
The family joins us again, and she said he was so proud of the salmon that he made for her. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but it happens. Let me ask you this as we're going through this. So one of the things I was wondering about, and I have to tell you, Miss Christine, my mom has so many questions for you because my mom has lost 2 children. And so this is really, this touches our family in a way that I don't think many families can understand. She wants to know, where was the young lady that he was supposed to stay with, and has anyone spoken to her? And what is she saying?
I'm not sure. She actually reached out to me the very next day, I think July the 5th, and basically just made it seem like it was like a hey bye type of situation. That was not his girlfriend, because I've been seeing that online. Nolan actually did not have a girlfriend that we were aware of. Normally, if it were to be someone he was very interested in, he would have brought that person home. This was just, I guess, someone he met out there. And yeah, she was just made it seem like, it was a, hey, nice to meet you. Okay, bye, I'm going back to my boat type of deal. And that was it.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and the YouTube Music app.
Mr. Wansley, when you went to retrieved the phone. You went to retrieve the keys, right?
Yes.
And what was that like? Were they cooperative? What was that like?
They appeared to be cooperative. When I went to get the keys initially, I asked the guy, Jax, could he go get the keys because I was there to get my son's car. And he was like, I don't know where the keys at. Nolan was like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, I'm his father. I'm here to get his car because you go to your room and see if you can find his keys. So he goes off and comes back a few minutes later saying he can't find the keys. So at that point, I get the other guys that were there looking for Nolan. I get them out of the house because I didn't want them to go in these people's house and do nothing. And that ended up being a whole nother ordeal. So we go back out to the car. One of the guys that I got out the house with me, he was on the phone with a girl who was apparently there earlier and said that Nolan's keys were on top of the Xbox in Jack's room. So he went back to the door and told him that the girl said his keys were on top of your Xbox. So 5 minutes later, he comes out with the keys. So now I feel like you just sat there and lied to me, or you still just half looked and didn't take my kind acts genuinely. And like I said, it just kind of it turned my spirit, because like now, like I said, you done lied to me, so I can't trust anything you tell me.
And Don, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Chris King said a similar thing when they went to retrieve the phone, that it took forever.
Yeah, so my friend actually, she went to retrieve the phone, and it took her a bit to get the phone to her. So basically, one of the young girls that was helping with the search for Nolan, she went and searched the boat that was on the property, and because that's supposedly where it was, but then it ended up supposedly in somebody's. And honestly, I can't remember because that night was a blur. But basically, the phone wasn't where they said it was, and it took some time for them to hand it over to my friend Tashima.
Why do you think that? That's odd. How long had they been friends? This group of his friends.
So I would probably say we started seeing Wyatt maybe high school. So then we've kind of met in passing. But you know, Wyatt, he would stay at the house. You know, we would see him a lot more than the others. I think we would see him more occasionally. So they knew, you know, he had a lot of friends, and that was the thing with Nolan. Like, he was pretty much, he could be friends with anybody, which was always a concern of, you know, sometimes you have to kind of pull back and not be so trusting of people, because, you know, although you have a genuine heart, a big heart, you know, it's not always reciprocated on the back end, which, like, I feel like we're living our worst spirit because of it.
Why did you say that was concerning, that he had so many friends of different types?
Because again, you know, when he was the one who just always uplifted his friends, like he was always, you know, posting, especially like his friends that played sports, he was always reposting their stuff, anything that they posted. He was just always encouraging, and we would tell him, you know, if you're not getting that back in return, you need to really think about your friendship with people, because that's a two-way street. You shouldn't be giving more than you're getting.
Or trust.
Yeah, absolutely trusting. You know, that's the big factor too.
Ben, does it give you pause? How do you feel about it as someone who's been doing this for, you know, this is what you do for a living, hearing the parents' experience with the people who are supposed to be friends?
It's certainly concerning, Don Lemon, and the reason why, I think the crux of the matter is this. Mr. Elmore and Miss Christine say they don't believe their son would have asked to stay back on the island. And once you come to just the common sense reaction that, hold on, if you believe them, and he said he was going to stay back on the island, would I not want my cell phone? And the fact that they go and leave him and they got his cell phone, they got his car keys. I mean, it doesn't add up, as we discussed yesterday, Don, and it's just problematic on many levels when you think about how, seems like from the beginning, they've been told where there's no foul play that we find. And they said that up front. So it really makes you concerned whether or not you're going to get a fair and impartial investigation.
When you spoke to, it's the sheriff, I believe, right there, and that he made the announcement or the proclamation that we think that this is accidental. Why would he do that without a thorough investigation?
Yes, to me or the family.
I'm asking you, Mr. Crump.
I think, Don, that it's inescapable that we have to acknowledge the past in the state of Mississippi, and the fact that when Black people have been unalived and there may be a hint of suspicion that it was done by white people, then those investigations have been whitewashed in the past. And we want to make sure we don't have that happen here. We think Nolan Xavier Wells should get transparency. His family should get answers, because he was such a good young man that we deserve to know why 4 of them went out, 3 of them came back alive, and their son washed up on the shore dead.
Do you feel like, Miss Christine or Mr. Elmore, do you feel like you're being stonewalled?
I think that they're trying to control the narrative. And up until today, we haven't made any comments about anything because we want to get facts. We don't want to speculate anything. We don't want to assume this or assume that. But like Mr. Crump said, to just assume that no foul play was involved with no investigation, or just from the fact of me and his mother going out there the very next day and not seeing anything, and you come up a day later and his body pops up. I mean, it's the fact that we went out there the next day, it changes things for us, because we were actually on the scene, on the island ourselves. So that's what makes it hard for me to just believe that nothing, no foul play, or to get me to believe that my son will walk out into some water or stay on the island by himself and not have a way back to the mainland. It's not in his character. We didn't raise Nolan like that. If you leave with someone, you come back with someone. You never break away from the group. And we drilled that into him. And that's just, we can't believe that he would have made that decision. We can't. Wow.
Miss Christine, do you want to say something about that?
I mean, he explained it perfectly. Those were conversations we've had with Nolan, not just Nolan, but all of our children. And really just kind of, try to drill that into them. And 2, we try to lead by example. So that's just like anytime they've had, football practices, basketball, whatever, if any of their friends needed rides, we would sit there. If their parents hadn't made it home, and they didn't have a key, okay, well, cool. We'll sit here in your driveway until your parent gets home. We just, when anyone else's child is in our care, we're going to treat them just like they're our child. We're going to make sure that they get to where they need safely. And so it's just, I guess it's to a point, not everyone is like that, but that's how our family is. And we've always been that way.
When you spoke in the press conference about standing, how your introduction to Ben, you felt it was a sign, and then a conversation that you had with yourself as you were standing there waiting to find out, I hate to be, find out if that was your son. And you said, I'm not a religious person, but you're spiritual.
Okay, let me just read this comment. Ashkan said, are the Yankubian kids involved, the ones that lawyered up quickly, or am I mistaking the case with another? Or are they all lawyered up? Yes, they are lawyered up. They got lawyers quickly, like the next day, beloved. Okay, but the interesting thing is that you call them Yankubians. Like Nubians, but Yankees. Let's continue, Ashkan. You are too much.
Is that can you take us back to that moment and then tell us, is that what's guiding you now? Because as I said in the beginning, I'm just in awe of your strength and your courage.
So,
what's up, y'all? I'm Percy Miller, Master P, and I want to tell y'all, social media, physical prime.
I was absolutely hoping for the best, but I don't know, there's that like mom gut, I guess. And so my brain switched to, okay, what if this doesn't turn out the way you all want it to? What if he doesn't come back home? What if something has happened? And so then it's, okay, now I have to make sure that I am, one, taking care of myself emotionally, spiritually, but then two, I can't get angry that quickly. Like, I am a very logical person. I'm analytical, like I want to know the facts, and that's it. And so in that, I was just like, I can't be rushed to judge anything. And hence is again why we've made no public statements really, given our opinions about anything, because we don't have anything to give just yet. The full details are not out. And so in that moment, it was either one of those, lean into my faith or let the anger and the hurt take over. And so I chose my faith.
Now, look, I'm a pretty logical person too, but I have my moments. You have your moments, right?
Definitely.
Something is amiss.
Absolutely.
If you were, go ahead, because I was going to say, if something wasn't amiss, you wouldn't be sitting next to Ben Crump.
Definitely. And that's a concern, which again, that was just part of that prayer, because I wasn't sure, if it was accidental, hey, but just, there's too many inconsistencies. And at the end of the day, like I've said over and over today, we just want answers. And I don't think that's a hard ask. And again, any parent should be asking for that if something has happened to their child or someone they loved. Like, that's just human nature. I would expect that.
It sounds like, Mr. Elmore, that you and Nolan was more than dad and son. It sounds like you were friends from what I've heard. It sounds like you were good friends. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at your face, and I know you're thinking, I'm the man and this, I got to be strong, but this ain't easy.
I have my moments, but I try to try to isolate them from from everyone else, because if I feel like if I break down, then everyone else is gonna break down, and I have to be the one there to console and pick up the pieces for my family. But I do have my moments. I think about our talks, things that we used to do together.
His jokes.
Corny jokes. Antics. Coming into my room, waking me up, and walking by trying to sneak towels and stuff. And I catch him, and then he'll stop like he'll a statue or something, like, boy, I see you in the dark. What are you doing? And
we're just coming in the room at 10 when we're asleep, like, hey, what you guys doing?
Yeah,
sir, we have to go to work in the morning.
But I've been put on a very good facade, because when I have my moments, like I say, I isolate myself, and I do what I need to do. I collect myself, and then I get back to the job at hand, which is consoling my family.
And tell me about. Hang on, Ben. If you give me 1 second, I just want to finish up here with this.
Please, I love about football and their bond together.
That's what I was going to ask you, Ben. You're reading my mind, because I was going to say, tell me more about your relationship, because I was so heartened to hear that. I'm just going to be honest, because you hear this, folks saying the Black fathers aren't there, and they aren't present. And as I watch you on Good Morning America, and I said, damn, this man was involved in every aspect, and you were trying to teach him about playing sports. It's not just about playing sports. It's also a business, right?
Yes.
It's also your livelihood. So you were trying to, make him man up.
Yes.
You're speaking to Michael Strahan. You're trying to get him to man up and be a respectful young man. And that really touched me.
Yes. Basically, I was just trying to teach him everything that I learned on my journey, as far as playing sports collegiately and my short stint of dealing with professionally. I just pretty much tried to pass all the knowledge I could, because he was at the age now to where he was understanding what I was trying to tell him. In the beginning, he was like, "Oh, Dad, you're just harping, da 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 da," but he was starting to understand it and starting to buy into it. And with him doing that, his younger brother was seeing it and seeing his brother's focus, and it made him focus. And I guess he trained out this whole summer. He trained because he was like, "Dad, come December, I'm not gonna be at Southwest anyway. I'm gonna be somewhere else and doing this." And I would tell him, "Son, slow down." I said, "But in the meantime, I just need you to continue to work, continue to get better, and everything else I'll take care of as far as the business side. I just need you to focus on getting better and taking one thing at a time." Because he was like, "I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna take care of y'all." And like when it's we're okay. Just make sure you're okay. And to get to where you want to be, you gotta take baby steps. I said, "You're almost there, but you still got a lot more to go." And like I said, he was buying into it and really focusing. He was. I had him seriously focused on. He was laser focused on what his mission was.
If you're a woman expert between the ages of 40 and 70 and you have a
Ben, I think you've heard me give this speech before, because we were at something that honored you, and I think I talked about how young people, you would get interns. I have interns now, and people, they want to know how to make it as a strong Black man, a strong woman, or a strong gay person, or whatever. And I said, don't worry about that. Let the old heads worry about it. You worry about being excellent. And that's what you were teaching him, just to be excellent, so that he could focus on, what was important, so that he could achieve those dreams that he had.
Yes.
That's what you were doing.
Yeah. And it looks like he was really following your blueprint, Elmore.
Do you want to say any more, Elmore?
Nolan, and I've said this several times, but I'm gonna continue to say it till the cows come. Nolan was a people's person. Everyone gravitated to him when he stepped into a room. His aura, if you believe in those type of things, people gravitated to that. He was great with kids, and we used to always tell him, you know, son, you might want to work with kids because you're so patient with them. And it's weird because he wasn't patient with his brother. But
well, you know, come on now, we all ain't perfect now.
No, but he just so patient and kind, and I would have people come up to me and be like, "Is Nolan your son?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, I really appreciate it, man. He really helped my son training, help him with basketball. He didn't have to do that, and it really helped my son, you know, be a better person and love the game." So he was loved by not just kids his age, but adults as well.
Yeah. Miss Christine, I saw someone on social media who was talking about you, her name Suzanne Lambert. I don't know if you know who Suzanne Lambert is. And she said that you followed her. And I said, well, wait a minute, let me check. And she was the impetus. And I went back and I checked and I'm like, oh my gosh, Miss Christine follows me as well. And I reached out to you on social media and you responded back. I don't know if it was because of Ben or whatever, but you just mentioned Mr. Elmore did the aura. And if you don't mind, I'll just, one of the texts that I said to you, I said, hi, Ms. Wansley. I am so pleasantly surprised that you responded. Thank you so much. I am honored. I can't tell you how sorry I am that you are going through this. I can tell just by the photos, the beautiful spirit Nolan had, smart, athletic, handsome, and alluring spirit, what the kids call aura.
Oh.
And Riz.
The Riz.
and I said, please take care of yourself. He did. And I was just, you have such a warm spirit as well. My question is, though, so I'm going to be honest and direct. Do you think that these people he was with, you think they were really his friends? Do you think there was some jealousy there? Anything like that?
You know, that's something I can't answer. The only thing I can say is I'm
only asking because of the argument part. I should have put that in there. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You know, with any friendship, you know, different feelings occur.
Of course.
But what matters is how do you react to those feelings? What do you do if you are experiencing those feelings, you know? So that's kind of a hard question to answer. I would hope, again, you know, those that he called like his best friends, I would hope that they were just as loving and supportive of him as he was to them, because I know my son, he didn't even really have to know you and he would support you in some kind of way. I've had a couple.
You were telling me about, you talked about something he did with a girl in the class and like,
yeah, it was
gassed her up and you know, made sure that she had a voice.
Yeah, and that's what kind of person he was. Like he wanted everybody to win. He wanted everybody to get along, no matter what color you were. And you know, he was just a great kid, just a genuine person.
Let me just pause for a second and say this. Jesse Johnson said he asks stupid questions, in my opinion. Sometimes Don doesn't ask the greatest questions, but I think the one that he just asked was a good question. And here's what I think about that. I feel like Nolan, from what they're saying about Nolan, it seems, you know, looking at his pictures and things like that and videos of him, he probably was a person who walked in the room and he had everyone's attention. You know, some people have a light within them that people who are dark on the inside, like haters, people who have nefarious intentions, they're attracted to those people because of their light. Okay, because darkness is attracted to light. But what they want to do is siphon that person's energy. They really don't like the person. A lot of times they're just, you know, envious of that person. And so they want to keep them close. And I think maybe that is something that was going on, because sometimes when you're the kind of person that they're saying Nolan was, you absolutely will have haters. And they'll be the kind of haters that want to be close close to you, smiling in your face. So like I told you all earlier, some people will sit right there and pretend to be your friends and smile in your face and act like they're your biggest cheerleader, but that's only because they want to have a front row seat to your demise. And I think that at least one of his friends was that way. Okay, now let's continue.
You don't find people like that often now.
Hey, Don,
I got it.
Yeah,
I know you got to run, but I want to ask you something. I know you got to go, but Ben, you know, I'm going to ask you, what about the autopsy?
Still waiting for the results, and hopefully they'll be coming soon. The weather kind of slowed us down a little bit, but we want to be thorough and want to be able to get it out as soon as we can.
And no services yet, right?
No, they're going to finalize that hopefully this Monday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. Thank you, Ben. You have to go, right? Is that what you were about to tell me?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. I mean, time flies.
Don, you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here. So, Ben, I appreciate you. Take care of this amazing family. And Miss Christine, Mr. Elmore, thank you. And if there's anything I can do for you, you know how to get in touch with me. I'm so sorry. My deepest condolences.
And Don, thank you for promoting the GoFundMe even before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it helps us get investigators and experts to break down the phone and everything else.
And two, I think
that's
during times, you know, we're not working, but bills don't stop. You know, that's another thing too. So, because I've been seeing some stuff online, and you know, you cannot. And
don't even look at the craziness.
Yeah. Don't look at that.
I've done good staying away. It was on accident. I opened it on accident.
Well, that's the next thing we had up. I was going to promote the GoFundMe after you guys left because I know you have to go. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Get some sleep, eat. Yeah. Thank you so much. Man, what an amazing family. And as they said, here's the GoFundMe. There's a GoFundMe, and we're going to pin it in the top of our chat in loving memory of Nolan Xavier Wells. Go to that, hit the link in the top of the chat, and, you know, help this family. If you can give, if you can help, I can see them in the green room now. They're hugging each other. So, wow.
Okay. Okay, shout out to Don for interviewing them. Don kind of asked boring questions, like you all said. I have to agree. Okay. With that being said, though, we're gonna get into this TikTok live that I was listening to. Here's the thing, though. Someone asked, oh, and thank you, Miss February. Thank you, beloved, for your kind words. Someone was asking, how can they laugh without crying? Well, I'm sure they have cried probably every day since he passed away, beloved. But sometimes when someone passes and you think about the good times you had and you're speaking fondly of the good memories, it will make you smile. And you know, sadness and joy can't be in the same space at the same time. Okay? Most of the time. So, you know, they're just smiling because of the good memories that they were speaking about of him. Okay, now in my opinion, okay. That's right. Rich says sometimes that's all you can do, beloved. Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes you smile simply to keep from crying. Okay. They're just trying to hold it together. I can only imagine what they're going through behind closed doors. Okay, so now let's get into this TikTok live. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me see here. Ashkan said, plus it may be weird feeling to be on national TV. That's true too. Sometimes that makes you nervous. Here we go.
I go hunting deer. I'll throw it on the back and just take it down to the shop now. That motherfucker with that black shades and cross on, it's something about it, man. And you're an investigator. You can look at it and break it how you want to. He got his elbow on his knee and all that. And look,
Hold on. Nita and Mike's World said, Queen, did you see that Javon had a black eye? No, I didn't know anything about him having a black eye. We just watched his interview on TMZ. He didn't have one then. I didn't know he had a black eye. But also, I wanted to say to Truth Brown, you asked earlier if I heard what people were saying about this being a psyop. I haven't heard anything about that, but what I will say is this. Anyone that's saying this is a psyop is just trying to paint a narrative. It is likely the MAGA minions, they're just trying to, because here's the thing. Wouldn't it be so convenient for them to say it's a psyop? Because they don't want these thugs who don't look like me to be deemed and viewed as guilty. Okay, it was okay for them to go in hard in the paint on Carmelo and call him a murderer and a monster and act like he's just savagely, it's some brute who went looking for trouble and found it and all of that. It's okay for them to say that about a black person. But then when we start saying things about them, now some of them get upset and they want to start acting like, oh, they're innocent. You all are just on a witch hunt. You all are just trying to make them guilty. You should wait for the evidence. But they didn't wait for evidence, did they? No, they didn't. Okay, so I don't really care what they say. And if that started, even if it's black people saying it, in my opinion, it was likely started by the MAGA minions, because I've been listening to several of these TikToks, okay, and they're telling a whole lot of lies. And by them, I'm talking about the white folk. They're making up lies, okay? That's what they're doing. They're making up a whole lot of lies, saying things that are not even true, that have not been said anywhere. And then when you ask them to give the resource or the source for where they got the information, oh, I'm not going to say anything. Oh, I'm not going to name names. Yeah, because you're lying. Okay, that's what that is. And that's just what I feel about it. It's definitely not a psyop in my opinion. But let's continue.
Looks wrong. That's all I'm saying. Tell me if I'm wrong. That motherfucker with those black.
I want to know what you mean by I go hunting deer, because I come from a family of hunters.
Listen,
and my husband,
like he gets down. He'll get down.
I'm just saying, my husband got like 20 dead things on the wall. Like,
yes, like he does that. Yeah.
But he's the greatest man alive to everybody.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with it. What I'm saying is how they look in the photo, and I can see their personality traits and what they would do, and it's like, fuck, man, what do we do? The roles align with how they look. I could be wrong, but that motherfucker with black shades and that cross on, he is on to something. That's all I'm saying, Duncan. Now you look at the picture all you want to.
But my question is, why Jennifer, why do you keep saying if something happened?
Because she doesn't.
I just don't think we know yet. I mean, I know that he passed.
See, let me tell you something. This is another thing I don't like about these TikTok spaces. I don't like the fact that when they're having a panel that's mostly, or the host is a black person, and I'm not talking about the raccoons, but a regular black person, right? When they're having these panels and then a racist gets up there, what they do is they try so hard to control the narrative. They try to act like everything the black people are saying is not substantiated, but the things they're saying are not substantiated. And it's just like so annoying. And I got up there and asked one of them on another panel, I was like, why do y'all even have this guy up here? Why are y'all trying to explain anything to him? Because at the end of the day, no matter what you say, he doesn't want to hear it, because he doesn't care about facts and truth. He just wants to defend these people, knowing that everything looks all suspicious and shady. Why would you all not try to volunteer to help find your friend? Why would you all not call the parents as soon as you got back home? Why didn't you all say anything about having his wallet, his phone, and his keys? Why did the mother have to track it? It's like so many things. Why were y'all cleaning that boat out late at night? Okay, why is the judge coming out trying to do damage control? Because that's what she's doing. Coming out making two statements. Yeah, she's trying to do damage control. She wants to control the narrative, but unfortunately for her, she's not able to, because the parents are on a media run right now. Okay, so that's not working in their favor. And a lot of these minions, okay, these white tea racist people, they are very upset by that. They don't want it to look as though these kids are guilty. These teenagers, these young people, they're not kids, but these young people are guilty. And they really don't care about the fact that Nolan is deceased at all. So I don't understand why they keep allowing them to get up there. This lady, Jennifer, was getting on my last nerve, because all she was doing was trying to discount everything they said and continuously trying to, justify what those kids did. But let's continue.
Passed away, he lost his life. If it was not a drowning, I guess is the way I should say it. Like if he didn't drown and something else happened.
Who killed him then? Did he
Okay,
kill
how
himself?
would he have drowned?
Jody, you
His
can't
body
hear me.
was dry.
Give me a way he could have drowned.
His
How could he
body
have drowned?
dry.
He
His
fell
body's
in the,
dry
he
on
fell off the
shore.
boat or something. How did he drown?
No, I mean even walking in those waters, like the shoreline to
So
the
nobody saw nothing.
They was
I think it would be very
so
in
Jennifer,
that
I'm
situation.
sorry. Hold on, y'all.
First place.
Hold on,
Don't
y'all.
ask me questions which are never let me answer.
I've been up here for a minute. I've been up here for a minute. I've been quiet.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
now, Jennifer, my question is, what if it comes back that there's no water in his lungs from drowning?
Then he
Then what
didn't
would you say about
drown.
that? Okay, so then what would you think that happened?
Someone took his life.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. That's all we know.
in this case, because see, it's kind of like a double standard here, because when it came to the, and I don't want to bring this situation, but I'm gonna have to. When it came to Carmelo and when it came to Austin, the other community automatically ruled Carmelo out and said that it was premeditation because he had something in his bag. But because we as a black community, we have experienced this time and time again, nothing was ever done. Nothing has never came back with a solution of what happened. Now that we're all up here speculating, because that's what we're doing right now, right? Besides the press conference that his mom and his father gave, besides what we've been hearing from witnesses, now that we're seeing him speculating, it's kind of like a oh moment all over again. It's kind of like a what the fuck happened moment all over again. So these black people on this panel, we can sit here and dumb it down from A to Z, because we have seen this time and time again. Tamir Rice, they thought that he whistled at a white woman. Guess what they did? They would have took him on out. Years later, decades later, that woman, before she left up out of here, saying that she is sorry, that it was all a lie. So again, when it comes to us, we're gonna sit here on these panels and we're gonna speculate, and we're gonna say that when it comes to a black child and the white community, it's an for us, because now y'all covering up stuff from the keys. When his father went to their house and got the keys, they said that boy woke up or whatever he was doing, so he didn't know where the keys were. Then they had to call the young lady who wasn't even at the house, and she's like, "Oh yeah, the keys are right there." So you mean to tell me no one in that house knew until they had to call someone? Then his mother had to retrieve her mother's friend or sister had to retrieve that phone by using 360, and somebody had to go out there and get it. You cannot tell me there's not any holes in what's going on. So the fact that people keep, and I'm gonna land here, that people keep saying that it's not no if, there was some foul play here. Because if it wasn't, they would have all came together. I believe I heard a young lady here on here say they would have all came together. If y'all so tight knit, close, tight knit community, they would have came together and say, "I'm not sure what happened."
Exactly. And that's why these type of people would not be on my panel ever. Okay. They would not be up there. If I let them up, as soon as they start saying the kind of stuff she's saying, you got to go. Okay. Because if you're not here for the truth and you just want to paint narratives and try to control the conversation, you got to go. Now, that being said, Angie says, "Queen, have you heard about an arrest made tonight?" No, I have not, beloved. And I saw someone else in the chat say something about they heard an arrest was made. An arrest for what? Because there's no arrest made in the case of Nolan. Okay, I just looked it up. There's no arrest been made in the case of Nolan. And had there been one, I'm pretty sure the parents would have mentioned it when they were on Don Lemon's live. That would be breaking news. That would be breaking news. Okay. So I don't believe that an arrest was made, beloveds. I don't. I think that's probably just more misinformation being spread. Okay, because when something like that, this is a big story. If anyone was arrested, we would have all heard about it. Okay. D-Mate said, "Queen said you got to go." Yes, I'm so serious. She would have to go. You're not going to be up here talking crazy. And there was one guy who was really getting on my last nerve on another panel. He was such a racist, and he was continuously trying to talk over the host and everybody else. Finally, the host went in on him and darn near threatened him. And then he was like, "You're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to disrespect me." And the host was still going in on him because what are you going to do about it? And then he just dropped off the panel. And then he's in the chat talking about, "We good, we good." And the host is like, "No, we're not good. Okay. And don't make me pull up on you because I can fly to where you are because I know exactly where you at." And then it got so ghetto. I was just like, okay, I'm out of here. Well, let's continue.
I mean, we got to figure this thing out here. If they are, and I'm gonna land with this: the fact that all these Republicans and these white people came together for Caitlin Clark over thinking that it was some type of bullying on that court, and they wrote the WNBA because of that's what happens in basketball. It clearly tells what the fuck is going on, and I'm gonna land my plane here.
I agree with you, because if it was a white person, they would have a lot of things going on.
Hold
right
on,
now.
Erica
I
and
got some
Jordan.
answers.
Hold on, Erica and Jody. Go ahead, Jordan.
Good afternoon. Thank you, host, for.
You're welcome,
If you
sweetheart.
could, if you
What's
could,
your age? What's your age, love?
I'm 45.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So I wanted to say
Hold on. I'm gonna keep interrupting. When Ashkan said LOL, okay, I'm out of here. The ghetto threshold has been reached. That's exactly how I was feeling, beloved. Okay, it was time to go. Okay, it just got too hood for me.
in the most respectful way possible. I want us to give a little thought to what we're doing at this moment. I love that we're coming together, sharing facts, and trying to get a grasp on what is happening. What concerns me is the presence of Jennifer. Why would we have these conversations while she's here? Let me explain to you how this is counterproductive. And I mean this in the most respectful way possible to everybody who's here except Jennifer. In my environment, I work in healthcare, and what we have something on Mondays that we call Mondays at the water cooler. At the water cooler, if you stand around, you can listen to the pale people have conversations about what they witnessed with the natives. That's what they call us, the natives.
Now, did y'all know that that's what they call us behind our backs, the natives? I want you all to pay attention because what did I tell y'all yesterday? Wasn't that yesterday? And I told y'all that we're the real natives, and that's what they call you behind your backs. Please pay attention. D Major said, "Not nuck if you buck." That's where it was going. Okay, it got real ghetto real quick. I'm talking about he went on literally the host went in for about 10 minutes straight threatening the dude, like telling him what he's gonna do. He talked about his girlfriend and everything because he clearly knows her too. He was like, "Yeah, you know, I know you. I know your B and everything." And he was like, "She don't want you." I mean, it was just all so left. At the end of the day, it clearly had nothing else to do with Nolan. That's why I was like, "Okay, I'm out of here. This is not what I'm here for." Okay, but thank you for your for that, beloved. That's funny, and thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now let's hear her going in on Jennifer, because Jennifer is going to change her attitude after a while of everybody going in.
She wants to impress her white friends, and she wants going to go have conversations after this live stream and tell them what the natives are talking about. We're giving her the handbook. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is we're helping them understand what speculation we have, what approach we're taking, what we recommend, and then she'll go tell them and they can combat it. So by having a conversation where we openly involve her and allow her to redirect, what we're doing is allowing the enemy to steer the conversation.
Exactly.
I love it, sister. I love that.
Yeah, well said.
Shut the fuck up then.
More time. More times.
You see the clear in these situations. I'm sorry, y'all. God bless you.
Jennifer, are you on the case?
I mean, I wasn't. I mean, that's
Yes or no?
that's not. It's not. What do you mean?
Well, you can't. If you're a part of the case, you're not.
There's no. I mean, if I say anything.
Hold on. Ebony just said something. Ebony said Jennifer is acting like an overseer. There you go. There you go. Ashkan said Jenny hit the block. Okay. She is acting like an overseer. Do you all remember how back in the days of slavery? Well, of course, we weren't there, but we probably learned about it from reading and seeing the movies, right? Think about how during slavery, when they would have church on Sunday and they would let the black people go to church or whatever, right? They would always have one white person in there to make sure that the pastor is only preaching to the rest of the slaves with the from the scriptures that he's allowed to by the white folk, because they wouldn't let you talk about certain things because they didn't want black people getting any ideas. They wanted you to obey your master, turn the other cheek. That type of scripture is what they wanted implanted in their minds. So they would always have one white person at least come in there and sit there and listen in to make sure they're saying what they're supposed to say. And then if they say anything else, they go back and tell. So that's who Jennifer is. You're absolutely right, beloved. She is the overseer. And guess what? That's why that young lady is going in on her. And I agree with everything she said. Why are you letting her sit there and try to redirect the conversation, okay, and trying to control and paint a narrative? She's not for you, so that means she's against you. She would not be on my panel. Now, some of these people will allow people like her to stay because they think that draws more people into the panel, more people into the live to listen because they're being controversial. I wouldn't care about any of that. She would have to go. If you're racist and you're not with what we're talking about, bye. Okay, that's just what it is.
I think it's going to sound like a lie. I don't even have friends, and my husband does not care about like me getting involved in TikTok scenarios. In fact,
I'm just talking about this is an open case, like, you know.
Thank you, D Major. Said Jenny on the block about to get blocked. Exactly. And thank you for your donation, beloved. I appreciate you.
Open investigation. It's just like when you go to court, you
We
can't
don't know
talk
who you
about
know.
what you
We don't know
see.
who you know.
I've
So
already
I'm just
answered
saying,
that
if you're a
question
part
earlier.
of it,
I
then
guess
you can't talk
didn't
about it.
realize that
I
some of
want to
this.
hear.
I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone involved
You're
in
not
it.
tied
Let
to
me go a
this
step
case,
further.
or
Let me go a step further
She's
because
just a regular. She's just
one
a guest
moment.
like
okay,
everyone else.
Yeah,
No,
y'all.
no, sir, we're not going to do that.
Hold
So let
on,
me go a
Jordan.
step
Hold
further.
on. Jordan, hold on. Let Jody finish. Go ahead, Jody.
I was just saying, you know, she made a point. I don't know if she knows you or not. I'm not trying to judge you or anything, you know, or saying. I'm just saying when you go to court, you know, whatever you see in the courtroom, you keep it there. When you're I've been on a panel before. I mean, a part of something, you know. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you are, you know, a part of this, what's going on. But like I said, I agree with what she's saying. I'm saying if it was a white person, a lot of head would turn. I'm here for justice. I'm a mom. I feel her pain, and just like you said, they're close. And if I had to, you know, if we said we're family, and if it was your kid popped up, I'm gonna come with my kid and say, hey, you know, the timeline though, you know, that's a lot going on. I will try to help, you know, with the situation. Boys will be boys, and I don't know what happened. You know, they're gonna fight, but they've been childhood friends and whatever, and we're supposed to be so close. And my child came back, and your child is missing. That's going to be questionable since we're so close. You know what I'm saying? That's my view about it. And as a mom, I feel her pain. Any mom that bring a child in should feel a pain. But I'm trying to say that the world that we're in and the state that it happened, there's racism out there. And, you know, I have a mixed child. So when people see me and see that I'm a black person, they say, oh, that's your child. And then they start drawing their child away from my child. But 5 minutes ago, you didn't have a problem with my child play with your child. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to face it. I'm a nurse. A person called me a nigger. I mean, I have to deal with it all, but I said, I'm not talking to you like that. I'm giving you respect. But when I'm treating someone, I'm not looking at the color of their skin or giving them blood or anything like that. I put all my feelings aside and treat you as a human being. But the country that we live in, unfortunately, for her, that's the color of her skin, because technically we're built up all different cultures, but they judge us. But if it's a white person, you have more privilege over us than, and we have to fight to be in your group pretty much, and you still are questioning us when we are a part of your group. But like I said, my heart goes out to the mom. Any parent that lose a child, my heart goes out, and I hope there's justice, because a couple years ago about the other place, there was no justice for that guy. He was minding his own business, the Geron case and whatever, till he did get justice. I mean, we should be equal and just try to live,
These parents turned off their phones. All these parents blocked that mother. All these parents shut down their social media so they could get their story straight. So who do they communicate with? What are they doing? Every time somebody says something, Jennifer says the entire opposite. Her whole purpose, her whole motive seems to be for her to direct the conversation. Didn't she even say, nobody hear a Ben Crump thing? Didn't I hear her say that? And we're still engaging with her. In this moment, perhaps we owe that family some allegiance, if nothing else. But the simple fact that we suspect that she here siphoning off information, we shouldn't talk to her, if for nothing else.
Rose hips.
Hey, Rose, she doesn't even want to talk to her. And I agree. Why are y'all wasting your time?
Hi, everybody. Hey.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to say two excuses. What you said in your last comment, you were like so on point. But my comment is for Miss Jennifer. I have a question for you, Miss Jennifer, because you keep saying when everybody was discussing the video that recorded Nolan saying, "Give me my effing phone," you said, this is mind-boggling to me, you said you can't hear anything out over that water. But scientifically, because they are over the water, they can hear more clearly. Are you aware of the acoustic sounds of being in water?
Wow.
Let me read something to you. You know, it's funny, you know, when you get a certain age, we forget a lot of stuff, you know, that we learned when we were like in science in 7th grade and stuff. But when you start thinking things, you're like, wait a minute, hold up, that's not right. So as you guys was talking, I said, let me actually look this up to get the wording, because I know that is scientifically not true, what you were saying about not being able to hear in the water. So I'm gonna read you this definition, and I want you to tell me what you think. So, acoustic sounds over water travels remarkably well.
Okay, guys, listen. I want you all to really pay attention to what she's saying right here, because think back to when Javon said he didn't think that was Nolan because of the distance, and you could hear the voices so clear. Now, this young lady breaks it down as to why you would be able to hear them clearly, even though you're by the water. Okay, because Jennifer said, "Oh, how could they hear anything? I couldn't hear anything but the water." She doesn't know what she's talking about, but this young lady does. Also, Essential Beloved, Essential Oil says, they need to throw Jennifer the ops out. Exactly. Okay, I don't know what they're waiting on, beloved. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, while you all are listening, I found some videos of Nolan that I'm going to upload so we can watch them after this. Okay, let's continue.
Often carrying over long distances with exceptional clarity. This phenomenon occurs because a cool water surface chills the air immediately above it, causing sound waves to refract, meaning bend, downward and trap the sound along the water surface rather than dispersing into the open sky. And I noticed in that video, that first boat they were showing, when we started to hear Nolan say, "Give me my effing phone," that family, the guy that was at the wheel of that boat, who looked at older than a lot of the younger people out there, including some of the people on his boat, that guy was so, like, he had his eyes directly across the water over there to where Nolan and them was. Even if they were a mile out, like you're claiming, which I don't believe, but I'm going to take your word for face value. Even if they were, the fact that we could hear that has everything to do with the acoustic sound that travels across water. It was the water that made it possible for us to hear all that.
That's not why I said that. It's just very loud in those areas, like, and they're further out, so you're going to hear all the boat radios and all the people. I just don't understand how that far of a distance away you can single out a voice that's on the shore.
They're gonna try to give everything they got to help, to cry out for help. You're in distress, so
they were. I mean,
people around them. I mean,
there were like kids surrounding that area right there, like all in that group, adults. Like, I understand everyone's focused on that area, but that camera just scans right past it. You have to stop it and zoom in to see what's happening. Like, it's just zooming past. They're not focused on that area. They're just videoing the surroundings with all the boats and stuff.
But scanning it doesn't negate the fact that
what's
you can
what's
hear.
happening here is she's controlling the narrative. Anybody who has a doubt.
I stayed quiet that whole time, but it was directed towards me. I was speaking and you interrupted me.
You were done. You interrupt everybody else anyway.
They asked me a question, I answered it.
What is happening here is everybody who's sitting on the fence, anyone who has a doubt, your whole purpose here is to be able to increase those doubts, is to be able to put down any argument that's uplifted here. Otherwise, why would you be here?
What would your reason be for sitting among us? It's not like you have any black friends. It's not like you like black people. Why would you be sitting here other than to be an agent for the other side?
I mean, it's so weird that you would even think I'm an agent. Like, if I was an agent, I wouldn't say anything. I would sit right here. I would sit right here in this chat, and I wouldn't even come in this box.
You're white.
I would just be creepy and just watch y'all
talk. You are creepy.
No, but I'm listening.
It's creepy.
Just because I don't agree doesn't mean I'm an agent.
It's creepy that you're on this panel with black people
talking about what happened to a young black boy. I'm sad that you're in the medical care.
Jordan, well, we're not gonna do we're not gonna do that.
Jennifer. Why? She said what she was.
Jennifer, no, I'm not talking to Jennifer.
Oh.
Duncan, from an investigation standpoint, and I'm just getting a hypothesis, is there a way, and I think you said this earlier, that they can break down the film filmology of what was recorded in that scan and possibly do a voice distinction to see who exactly said what, even though the parents say for sure that was his voice, and see if that argument indeed was connected to this altercation arising and then leading on to what we think happened? Is there a possible way?
100%. They will analyze each person's voice,
Thank
the
you.
boy's voice, his best friend's voices, and analyze all of it and distinguish it all.
Okay. I mean, if it's not him, it's not him. I'm just saying. I'm just asking a question.
Right. It definitely.
I'm being fair. I got to be fair with this whole thing. We really don't.
You use voicemails. You use videos. You use everything to analyze the voice, and it comes back 99.9%, which is right at 100. So,
because if he's saying, "Give me my freaking phone, give me my fucking phone," that means they were trying to withhold it. Let's just call it for what it is, which means why they kept it leaving to begin with. But I don't know.
Mr. Duncan, I'm sorry, Mob Ties. I just got to ask a question. And Mr. Duncan, so that would mean too that was already analyzed before Mr. Crump just said it in the actual press conference, correct? Because they wouldn't say that if that hadn't been done prior to the family coming out. The family would have to confirm that indeed was him as well, right?
Well, his mother said that was her son's voice. So Crump is going by what the mother said. Now we need to have reasonable doubt that's his voice 100%. We're going into it a lot deeper to make sure we want to get everybody's voice and not just her son's. We want to hear the best friend's voices also, so we can all put a pin on it together and then timestamp it. Also, time stamping is everything because it shows who and what time it happened and where, and goes from there. And we can't say that it was a mile out. They was a mile out in the water, Jennifer. You can't really say.
I Googled that. I did not. That didn't just come out of thin air. I literally Googled what the investigation had said at their distance. I actually thought that distance was quite crazy.
Well, Google when that. Google when that.
Okay, let me go with it though. Like I actually thought that distance was quite crazy because I used that distance in another feed, and then someone went to Google to battle me on it because I was like, "There's no way they're out that far," and then they went to Google to say that it's a different, like, I don't know. It was a whole different thing. But no, I looked that up and that's what I was told. But I agree. I don't think they're a mile out. I think they're closer. But
just because looking at the island, if anyone looks at the island, have ever been in the area, the island sits right in the center. Okay, so the water is around them. So
they anchor and then you just wait. Yeah, you go up.
Mr. Duncan, I have a question
that's a
for
long
you.
way. Yes.
Now, I believe the guy named Mr. Duncan, because I came in not at the beginning, maybe in the middle or whatever. But so Mr. Duncan, I believe that he works in law enforcement. So you'll hear them asking him certain questions about different things that law enforcement would know. Okay, so that's who she just spoke to.
Go ahead.
If you was handling this case, what kind of charges would you be able to bring?
Oh yeah, tamper with evidence.
That's one.
Murder 2, maybe.
Good. What's the next one?
Murder 1, murder 2, conspiracy, first degree. Okay, conspiracy maybe. Lies, negligence.
Definitely. Yeah, and definitely go after the judge.
Oh yeah, y'all asking Nelson
Judge knows something. The judge,
she
handled the investigation. Let's
yeah,
just be real.
if those messages are deleted, Duncan, and this was just what was allegedly said. If she had
And they
anything to
were.
do with those messages deleted, and that was a conversation of how to dictate
She
where the
gotta
body
get
was going to get
charges
disposed.
too, because she hiding
Listen,
something.
But shouldn't
listen.
they, Mr. Duncan, I have another question. Shouldn't they, even though they can't get them right now on what's going on, but couldn't they get them on underage drinking?
No, it's probably somebody
Well,
gave them
And
the liquor though.
operating,
So
and
that's why they got
operating,
them from.
and can
They
I
know
finish?
somebody.
Can I finish? And
I didn't get a
operating a
chance to
boat,
finish.
and operating a boat under the influence?
well, they was different ages for one. Okay, so 21
Yeah.
in some states you can drink, 18. So it depends on who was operating the boat at the time. So that would be kind of hard to prove, unless you had someone see that person operating that boat and was drinking. So that would be kind of like a hearsay. So that's we don't want to go after small things. We want to go after the large, because
But you gotta have the
we're
evidence
talking
for that.
about murder, which outweighs you drinking and traveling in a boat, taking a boat to a shore or a pier and anchoring it down. We're talking about murder. So this outweighs any type of drinking, any charge.
Also, what I was saying was, also, if those messages deleted and them just allegedly, if it was indeed them choreographing or a message, Nolan in distress or anything that would have linked to this whole, to crack this whole thing open, or her dictating, the judge dictating how to dispose of the body with a judge. I think the judge has a big hand in this case, especially protecting her son. Would that be allegedly negligence, conspiracy? What would she be facing on a judicial level? She swore an oath to
That's tampering with evidence, conspiracy.
Okay, got you.
It would be all that, because again, that would be timestamp. Anytime you mess with a phone, we can pull the phone up, messages. I don't care if it's got 100 passwords on it. We can pull it up and see who did what at what time. It will show. And then their phones also, if they had any messages going back and forth to their phones and they think they locked out, no, you're not locked out. We can get a warrant for your phones, pull them up. We can go on your Facebook, get a warrant for your Facebook.
Y'all can't do that, although they deleted it. That you can't find what they deleted.
Oh, they can pull that up. It's in the queue. It's in the queue.
I'm saying, technology nowadays, I call you guys computer geeks, but y'all can pull it up.
Yeah, the key is in the queue.
Your deleted messages from 30 days back.
Yep.
Snapchats and all, since they want to sit here and say, well, we don't, do they want to bring up that 24-hour thing with the Snapchat? It doesn't matter.
It's in the queue.
He had, exactly. It's two Snapchats that he had, and there was nothing on there. You tell me about that.
Hey, Duncan, I'll be honest with you.
We use two different sites that you guys don't even know about, that you can't even use to pull up information on phones, on tablets, on computers. I mean, that's why I don't care if you destroy your hard drive, we'll get it and pull it up.
Duncan, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen a lot of speculation, allegedly, and I think Snapchat gonna tell it, because it was too much talking on Snapchat between the people who was out there and on them boats, and who people that's with the Warren brother.
Them too, and they partying. They were
Warren brother, and all of them. They said too much on Snapchat. I think it's gonna crack it right there. That's just my opinion.
The own panic of the person doing, and like I said earlier, the person doing the crime themselves, and the other ones seeing it, if they didn't even partake in it, is enough to get them convicted. And
because they witnessed the murder,
they
what
witnessed
happened, so they got to get charged too.
They're gonna get charged too, and then they panicking and going back saying, "Hey, this is what happened." I'm afraid that something might happen. I got my career. I'm in college. I'm in school. I don't want to lose all this.
You should have thought about that before you did it. Sorry.
And they're gonna slip up because the story ain't gonna be right. That's why they draw them against each other, because your buddy, they use.
Hey, but we got to be real about this though. The law is you're innocent until proven guilty. So let's just go and give them.
Well, remember when they read your lights, right? When the police pull you over and they lock you up,
we gotta be understanding now. You're guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. So let's just connect the dots.
Need a lawyer, you can get
It gotta come out. It gotta come out though. So let's go and just be on both sides fair.
Sorry, guys. I didn't realize it had ended. Okay, I was sitting here getting these other videos together. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's go to the part 2. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
It's called blind justice for a reason. That's why it has blinders on it. It can swing either way. You got rich court, poor court, and medium court. You know, you got rich jail, medium jail, and poor people jail. You know, you go to state, you go to federal, or you go to, you know, a nice place like I can't think of the lady's name that was on TV, but you know, she said the N-word and got sent and lost her whole career show on TV, you know.
Kelly.
Right.
What
But,
this
you just have to understand that, you know, everybody gets treated different because it's not equal. It's definitely not equal in the court of law. It's definitely not. You never get a court appointed lawyer.
So Duncan, I have another question too, then. Being that because Miss Christine, Nolan's mom, she said during the press conference as well, when she was asked by a reporter when they were allowed to ask questions, that she had not spoken to the parent of the other family members. And I guess what is coming across to me is that if they are already lawyered up, right, before any of this came out, when would the other party be able to hear the testimonies or what has been said from the boys? You get what I'm saying? Like, they have their own lawyers. They're telling their lawyers their perspectives or whatever, or what they believe took place. When does the family get an actual opportunity to hear what's being said by them if they have those lawyers?
It's decided between the lawyers or when it goes to trial.
Hey, Duncan.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got a new panelist. I'll shut up. I think they want her to speak. I apologize.
Can I ask you another question, Mr. Duncan?
Yes.
Don't you think that, in my opinion, but don't you think they should move this case into another county? Being that one of the boys' mother is a judge, because that holds a lot of weight and influence on that town.
That's conflict of interest.
And that was going to be the next thing I said. I hope they move it to another county or somewhere else because
non-biased,
you know, the influence that the mother has in that area. Now, granted, most judges travel around to different counties in their state, and they might go work for 6 weeks at a time before they come back to their local area that they reside in. So it could get moved to another county within the same state, but it could be in an area that, you know, they know her in that area too. So that's the only
Mississippi on lock, basically.
You know they even talk
to go behind her.
Hold on, y'all. We got a new not panel. Really, because it could go to like Jackson, and
at the end of the day, they absolutely need to request a change of venue when and if this goes to trial, because she does have a lot of pull, I'm sure. Okay, knowing the police and all that, judges know all sorts of people in the judicial system. So it would be best, in my opinion, if they absolutely move for a change of venue. And they should have done the same thing with Carmelo's case.
And
after Duncan, hold on, Duncan.
Predominantly black there.
I'm sorry, Duncan.
It depends.
After Duncan, we're gonna let Betty Boo. Go ahead, Duncan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it could go to you know, a predominantly black county, and it would be in their favor. So it's just up to the court system and what they want to do and their lawyers. But getting moved would be very good. But I agree, the parents of the young man, if they were so close, of course, I would have came to their house, knocked on the door, tried to break it down to say, where is your son? You know, he's missing. He didn't come back with us. We've been looking for him. None of that happened.
Go ahead, Betty Boo.
I want to know, did anybody hear about them refusing a polygraph test? And see, the system is already failing them. It was failing them before it even happened because of all the people in high places and all the connections that they have. They are sweeping, they're trying to sweep this under the rug so bad. But the thing is, we're in the age of the internet. Any video that's anywhere will be on TikTok because we done seen a lot of the videos and we've heard a lot of other things that haven't been said by the police. They cover up everything from the hangings to the shootings. They cover it up. They call hanging suicide. So we know already that the system is gonna F him over on a large scale because it's already happening. Them refusing the polygraph test, that should be a dead end giveaway. If the lawyering up wasn't a dead giveaway, then the polygraph test should, because if you have nothing to hide, why not take it? What's the point?
That's right. But the polygraph is something they don't use in the courts no more. So that's why they can refuse to take it. I mean, you can take it and they could fail it, but you couldn't use it against them. It'd be inadmissible.
Boys were asked the following day by some of the kids in the town, why didn't they go search and why didn't they, I think they was asked like from other peers, like, why didn't they go search and what happened to, or why did they get lawyers or something like that? Don't quote me, but I know that there was some type of exchange and questioning. One of the boys had already responded by saying, because they already gonna say we did it. So that should tell a lot. It's a lot of saying stuff without saying stuff. And again, I think, and I've seen this in the comments, as a community, we're not trying to give out life sentences for children. You know what I'm saying? These are kids at the end of the day. We just want accountability. Say what happened. If any of us on this chat, we have kids, when your kids lying about something, when kids they did something, their behavior, so yeah, that's what the behavior of it. So it's like, come on, just accountability is the first move of justice. That's it. So that's it. Accountability.
They're not gonna come forward and say anything. They know what happened. I know that them kids told they folks what happened.
Oh yeah, we know that they told them.
They gotta know exactly what happened. They just don't want us to know.
Yeah. It was definitely a conversation had with the parents. I think even for the kids to just make their way back home. And and this was said by on another panel by the young lady in the community. I don't want to keep saying her name just for her safety, but on another panel, one of the young ladies in the community, and I want to say the mom said this too, because I've been keeping up with this since this happened, that matter of fact, the mom said it in the press conference. She said that when she used her Life 360 to find out where his phone was, the rest of the kids at the house, they had all of those kids finding the location of where he was located at via their Snapchats. So she said when she pulled up her Life 360, it was showing that her son was located at that house, but the rest of the kids were saying that he was just in Ocean Springs. I think that is something to look at, because one of the alleged girls that was on the boat with them, she deactivated her account as well, but her best friend still had her location to the Snapchat, and it showed that all of those kids was at that house for 4 hours prior to the dad arriving.
Hey, Duncan. And then it's like, it's not like they can't pull this stuff up. It's gonna be in the phone. They'll get to it. Whether you try to erase it or not, it's still gonna be there.
Locations, timestamps, text messages, and I like to bring this because the day and age that we're in, social media is really crazy. I remember being in my college seminar class years ago, I have a bachelor's degree in mass communications. And I remember in our seminar, our professors telling us that we don't see it right now, but social media will be a beast. And anything that you post on social media will be able to, it will be there for a lifetime. I remember my professor saying that, so much so that there was a student, just to prove a point. The professor does not follow this student on Facebook at the time, but on a private page was able to find a lot of information about her and pull her up in the middle of seminar just to prove a fact. And I mean, this was a picture of this young lady, probably embarrassing, but she was out looking drunk, looking wild. You know what I'm saying? But that was to prove a point, and that was so long ago. So I don't understand, like, I think just as adults in the community, it seems like everybody on the panel, people in the chat, we play a big role in our community. We have voices that people listen to. It's very imperative to let our youth know, like, anything that you say and do, it basically, you need to treat the internet like it is the court of law. If you don't want it to be seen or done, don't do it at all, you know? And I don't know, but that's my talk. Thank y'all for letting me be on this panel. I gotta go handle my babies. It was so good. Duncan, you are amazing. Thank you, Miss Browning, Mr. Mob Ties. Y'all were really good. Jennifer, I'm gonna pray for your heart. Baby, racism is a heart posture. You have to get your heart posture in order. While we're waiting on the rest of the information, just consider what's being said. Nobody's trying to jump on you, but when it comes to racism, you have to want to come out of that. And racism is a bondage that the white community is suffering with. And until they choose to take that level of accountability and responsibility, unfortunately, it is going to be yourself and your peers that is not going to help us move the needle on where we need to be in this country. And that's all I got to say.
Well, that was very well said. And see, these are the kind of TikTok lives that I like to be engaged in, because when the people are talking sensible, logical, and very intellectually. Okay. Now, with that all being said, let me read a few of the comments. Trisha says, pray for her, please. I wouldn't be as kind. I wouldn't pray for her at all. Okay, that's what I wouldn't do. Marie said, why are they entertaining her? Exactly my question. Okay, she'd be out of there so quick. Ryan says, Queen, been live broadcasting all day, or is this a rerun? Honey, this is not a rerun. Okay, sit down somewhere. We don't do reruns over here, beloved. This is live. Lieutenant Muxwell said, as soon as Black folks start talking real, Jenny, the white overseer, is finally quiet. I told you why they were going to shut her up. Okay. Okay, I told you they were going to shut her up. Now, that being said, Khadijah said, just confirming consideration, okay? Roger says, she is telling the truth, Queen. Who's telling the truth? Jennifer? I didn't hear her say anything that was true, okay? I heard her painting narratives and saying things that she couldn't substantiate. And then when she was pressed, she said, oh, I looked it up on Google. Girl, you didn't look that up on Google about them being a mile away. You just lied and said that, acting as though you knew. And when they asked her, like they do on these panels, when these YT people come up there telling lies, or then when they ask them where they got that from, they never have a good source. They'll say, oh, somebody told me. I'm not going to name names. Or say they Googled it. She just made it up. Okay, that's what she did. And then she was looking real silly when that girl broke down to her the acoustics and how you can hear so clearly by the ocean. But let's continue.
Okay, we appreciate you coming up, and I can hear you. I can listen to you all day.
Oh, okay. Roger said the Black woman was telling the truth, Queen. Okay, yes, she absolutely was. And she was very well spoken.
You love y'all. Be safe.
You too.
Duncan. Is he on there?
I hope that the sheriff isn't involved also. That's all I'm saying about that.
You know they ain't bad. But I got something I'll tell you. They have new developments of reporting on the Mississippi Television Facebook page, and I wanted you to hear this. I don't think you on here. Okay,
I'm on here.
I want to read it to you real quick. I'm sorry, I don't want to take Josh's time. I know he's new. So this is from the Mississippi Television. The U.S. Coast Guard has corrected its previous statement, confirming it did receive a call from a friend of Nolan Wells on the night of July 4th. Petty Officer Cheyenne Barshotto with the U.S. Coast Guard Heartland District originally told Mississippi Television by email that the Coast Guard was not notified about Will's disappearance until 12:26 p.m. on July 5th, when the Jackson County Sheriff's Office requested assistance. However, at 11:40 a.m. today, which was yesterday, Rosarito sent a follow-up email clarifying that this was not the first contact. According to the updated statement, quote, it has been confirmed that a friend of the team contacted the Coast Guard on the night of July 4th at around 11. However, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office is the lead agency and Coast Guard assistance was not requested until 12:26 p.m. July 5th, 2026, unquote. Rosarito also stated that no Coast Guard assistance was requested during the initial July 4th notification. Officials say that they could not release additional details about the call, including who made it or what was reported, because the case remains an investigation.
Okay, let's talk about that. This is what I was telling you all this morning. So now they're saying, because initially the Coast Guard said they didn't receive a call, okay, until the next day, something after 12 p.m. Now, the friend Warren said that he called the Coast Guard and he called Nolan's mom. Okay, well, that's what the judge said that her son Warren did. With that being said, Nolan's mother said that she received a call at 11:07. Now, you all remember this morning I said, why would he take it upon himself, Warren that is, why would he call the Coast Guard before he called Nolan's mom? Because if you haven't talked to the mom, then you don't know if Nolan's at home or not, do you? Unless you know that he isn't at home because you know something happened to him. And then I said, but what if he called the Coast Guard after he talked to Nolan's mom? Because remember, we were trying to figure out, did he talk to the mom first or after he made the call? Either way, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense either way, because here's the reason why. If he called the Coast Guard before he talked to Nolan's mom, like I said, why would he do that? And then you're going to call Nolan's mom and ask her, is Nolan okay or is Nolan at home? So why would you have called the Coast Guard to report him missing before you talked to her? Now, we don't know if he called them first, but the Coast Guard just said in that email that they were reading from that they got the call, they made a mistake, that they got the call around 11. So we know that Nolan's mom said she got a call from Warren at 11:07. So that's all in the same time frame. So who did he call first? Either way, it doesn't make sense. If he called the mom first, then why didn't he wait for the mom to call the Coast Guard and report her own son missing? Why would he take it upon himself to do that once he's spoken to the mother? See how that doesn't make sense? Unless he's doing that for a reason, possibly to clear himself and make it look like he has no nefarious intentions. And if anything happened, he wasn't involved, because I'm so concerned. That's why I called his mom and the Coast Guard. Okay. Or if he called the Coast Guard first and then called Nolan's mom, that definitely lets me know that he knew something was wrong with Nolan. And how would he know that? Unless he was there when something happened to him. Okay, that's what I want you all to pay attention to. Okay, because they're not as smart as they think. Okay, they'd already made a few missteps before they got in touch with Judge Ashley Cole, by the way. That's why she came out instantly trying to do damage control. Okay, now let's continue.
So all of a sudden now, yesterday, the day before the autopsy, now there's a correction. And then also 2 gentlemen from the actual Cajun Navy that were interviewed, and they're on the water every day. They had their shirts on, tucked in, their hats, they're on the water. They said, we're looking at the layout of the island and we understand how things work out. We are here a lot. And the story just doesn't align with him, hundreds of people out there and him drowning and know the stress call of the swimmer being distressed. Somebody would have saw that. Okay, they technically didn't leave him. Sure, if he said he wanted to say, let's go with that. But, his body been washed up how it was and not been waterlogged, essentially, he said, and him wanting to go swimming in a high riptide area where nobody could see him and it was so busy. This doesn't align with that. We've never heard that before. Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's non-biased. Both of them said the same thing, non-biased. They both said something don't make no damn sense. Okay. Right. And then now the Coast Guard email is getting sent to correct, reports a day before the autopsy comes out. You just mentioned the sheriff might be entitled on this. It just looks very convincing that the cover-up is coming out with money. That's all I want to say. And you're an investigator, so you know that don't make no damn sense. Now all of a sudden there's a correction coming out in the email. Somebody
You got
Hold
to think,
on.
one of the young men.
A real. Hold on.
Yeah, I
Let's
know
let
who's in the hot take. I'm
Scrutiny.
just saying somebody's putting a neck saying you better shut the
Let's
fuck
let
up and finish
Scrutiny
that
speak
email.
after
Somebody's saying you
Montage.
better put a gun in the neck and say you better not see a goddamn thing and send that email. You know somebody's getting told to shut the fuck up. Am I right, Duncan?
You're right. You're on top of it.
A day before the autopsy, now is a corrected email. Come on, man. Y'all had all week to do this.
And I was looking at the sheriff and listening to him, and that's why I kind of got suspicious, just about what he was saying.
Yeah. Got people changing their reports up and stuff. Come on, man. Like, really?
Welcome, Scrutiny. Go ahead.
Smoke, there's fire. That's all I got to say about
Can I
that.
ask y'all a question? I
Yeah,
was up
Jai,
here
you can
earlier,
go.
man.
You can go right after Scrutiny, Jai.
And my phone passed away. I'm sorry, but
Okay, so listen, that was entertaining. Jennifer got really quiet after they went in on her. Now, so here's the thing. It looks like they were talking about the Cajun Navy. Okay, so it looks as though the Cajun Navy interviewed again. So I'm gonna go to those clips. I just found them on TikTok. I have been sitting here multitasking, little do y'all know. So I'm gonna pull up this interview. We heard from this guy the other day, but this seems like a different interview. Hold on. Because he's saying that what they said really doesn't add up to him, like something that he was told is not making sense. Here we go. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Yeah, I was told that there was a boat he thought he was going to get on that was leaving and that he might have been trying to swim to it. The only problem I have with that story is that if the people in the boat knew he was trying to swim to it and they saw him getting carried off with the current, they would have known about it. They would have been able to react to it. Not only that, even if that wasn't the case, if he went into the water at all and became distressed, it was so crowded that day that it seems hard to believe that nobody would have noticed a distressed swimmer in the water. So again, it's a story I was told. There's a lot of reasons why I question it. What I do know is that he went out there with a number of boys that has been his regular friend group since he was young. They were ready to leave at about 3:00. They told him it's time to go. I was told he had started talking to a young lady and he wanted to hang back and keep talking to her, and that he would believe that he could get another ride. Now, some people have been criticizing, saying, "Oh, you never leave your friend." Well, technically they didn't leave him. He requested to stay behind. And if you know anything about how, these barrier islands are and how they're used recreationally, people go out there on one boat, they might come back on another boat. Like it's almost like a community ferry system, because not everybody has a boat, and you might jump on with another group of friends, whatnot. What we have to find out is, after his friends left, who was Nolan in contact with? Who did he believe he was supposed to get a ride back with? Did that boat give him a ride? Did he get on any boat? How did he end up in the water? Did he wade into the water on his own? Did he get on a boat and fall off? That's what we have to find out. On those particular islands, you're not allowed to like camp out or be there after dark. And so the rangers, as it gets to be sunset, they start running around looking for, if there's still any boaters or people out there saying, "Hey guys, it's time to go home." So I would not think that Nolan was just wandering around the island when it got dark. My instinct tells me that he got off the island, either tried to swim off or got off on a boat and somehow ended up in the water. But because of the Rangers' presence, I don't think it's likely that he just like spent the night on the island or was there after dark. Yeah, I was told.
Okay, so now what do you all think about that? Because they said that some people spent the night at the island. So maybe that isn't true, but definitely what he said makes more sense. Did Nolan try to swim to a boat, or was he on a boat and fell off, or did somebody knock him off? Okay, those friends, I can't wait to see the autopsy report, because I want to know if he actually drowned, okay, if there's water in his lungs. Okay, but let's go to the next clip. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, this is the guy that we heard from the other day from the Cajun Navy, but he's doing a different interview. And I want you all to pay attention because we need to be careful because the minions, okay, they're putting out false and misinformation. You got to pay attention. And they'll do that so that we will just be confused. All right.
Josh Gill, the incident commander with the Cajun Navy, an organization made up of volunteers that help with the search for Nolan Wells. Josh, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us about how this search actually played out and walk us through what happened.
Sure. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for having us on. So again, this is a very tragic case, and we really want to focus on making sure that the family gets all the closure that they need and gets all the information. So I received a phone call late Saturday night from a concerned friend of Nolan's, basically telling me the information. I mean, it already started going viral and being online. Received that phone call late that night, start gathering some information, drawing it down off of the internet. And then received another message and then a follow-up phone call from the mother first thing that Sunday morning. Again, in the conversation I had with the mother, you could hear the concern, to find her son. We did everything we possibly could. We had already had boats en route to go to the island, boots on the ground, multiple surface vessels as well as drones searched throughout that day. And then we had fixed wing aircraft on standby. The Coast Guard was already out there with the Sheriff's Department doing their searches with some rotary wing aircraft. Searched that day into the night. Then that Monday morning at daylight, we had additional surface vessels and fixed wing aircraft that were in the air, ultimately, which, he was found that morning.
Tell us, Josh, a little bit about the area and the island. What is it like? Is it normally crowded?
Absolutely crowded. A lot. July 4th weekend, nice, pretty weather. The water was calm. That allowed a lot of vessels to be out there. Hundreds of vessels, hundreds and hundreds of people. So it's hard for me to believe, in my honest opinion, that nobody saw anything. Again, we're not law enforcement. We're just a volunteer group, but we're working very closely with law enforcement as well as the family to provide any information that may come to us. To help, just to build out the story on what exactly happened to Nolan.
Due to the nature of the island, Josh, how difficult was it to conduct this search?
So the water is, it's dangerous water, in that pass on the northwest side of that island. There's a pass that cuts through and it's a lot of current. Wasn't extremely dangerous at that point. The surface conditions were amenable for us to be out there and to provide a pretty good search pattern, a good grid, as well as allowing us to be on the island with boots on the ground. It was, again, it's an accessible island.
I think we just lost our connection with Josh, but we'll try to reconnect. Josh Gill joining us, and we'll continue to stay on top of this story. I'll bring in right now Josh Gill, the incident commander with the Cajun Navy, an organization made up of...
Okay, so they lost connection. But from what he was saying, it sounds as though, in my opinion, that he doesn't think the story being told adds up either. Okay, but let's continue. Let's go to the next. We're going to look at a couple of clips and then we're out of here. All right, I'll be back tomorrow though.
Myself, the Nolan Wells situation has proven that being a black token friend in an all-white group is never a good idea. Those kids, they killed them. The parents were in on it too, they killed them. That whole white group, they killed them. There is no possible way that Nolan Wells was not specially able. He was not dumb. He had nothing wrong with him. There is no way he was on the beach asked to not go back and they could take his phone. No teenager, speaking for myself, no teenager lets anyone take their phone and leave. Who the fuck would do that? They're like in it as soon as they get back, they lawyer up. The situation hasn't been out for 24 hours and they lawyer up instantly. It's suspicious already. It's just crazy that there's people defending the white people too, saying that whenever a black person dies with their white friend group, they always blame the white kid. The white kids. Who the fuck wouldn't? At this point, this is coming from my voice, a white male. Who wouldn't blame them? This is happened before. Tamala Horsford. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I said the last name wrong. But that's just a prime example of being a token black friend in an all-white group. They murdered that woman in the corrupt justice system that is owned by the white people, and the white people have the top power of it. They still say that the case is undefined, the cause of death is undefined. They don't have those women as murderers. It's just the situation is just proving time and time again that there's nothing good that comes from being a black token friend in a white group. There's nothing good that comes from it. You can think something can come from it, but it doesn't. It's just followed with pure racism and hate and violence. It's never good. And I'm in all black friend group. That is the friend group that I am in currently. I have never experienced racism from any of my friends. All they do is pop jokes. I'm the only white person in the friend group from time to time, and that's rare. That's incredibly rare. But it's crazy when you look at the white friend groups with the black token friend, they're always popping racist shit against the black friend. Never against each other, just the black friend. It proves that black people are just entirely less racist than white people. And again, they just killed a fucking 16-year-old because he's black, the color of his fucking skin. Anyways, have a good night. I hope this case gets solved. Anyway, I'd cut off there, but hope all y'all have a good night. I hope this case gets solved. I hope the family gets justice. I hope those evil people go to jail. Get fucking 100 years.
Okay, see, like I told y'all, even the good white folk know they're up to no good, okay, think that they're guilty. And listen to this. What he said was interesting because he said you have white people saying that every time a black person is by themselves around white people and they end up dead, they always blame the white people. Who the hell else are we going to blame? Okay, we know your history. Of course we're going to blame you, please. It's not like it's never happened. Are y'all hearing this? I mean, they really are trying to paint a narrative. They're trying to play the victim. And I want you all to pay attention to that because they love to say, these MAGA type millions love to say that black people play the victim. We are the victims of a system of wanton supremacy and oppression. Okay, we literally are. They're not the victims. Now they are playing the victims, trying to act like they're oppressed, talking about reverse racism, talking about they need reparations because they were done wrong by the Biden administration. Everything they're doing is crazy. Okay, they're totally playing the victim. They need to sit down somewhere, okay? At the end of the day. And again, shout out to the good white folk, because these Macamines, I cannot stand any of them.
My son was with a bunch of people, and he was the only one that didn't come back alive. Nobody would come back alive. All of them would be dead. That's what should happen. And there's a reason why black people don't trust white people. This isn't happening in a vacuum. Nolan Wells was a member of the team, went to the same school, was friends with all of them, except he's the one that ended up dying. He's the one, his actions got questioned because he's black. If it was a bunch of white kids, they wouldn't ask, well, what was he doing? What was he saying? What was his behavior? Those are the kind of questions that are being asked because he's black. But all of them should fucking die. If that kid didn't come back alive, none of them should have.
He said what he said at the end of the day. Not going to say if I agree with it, but here's the thing. He's absolutely right about how they're asking all of these questions about Nolan. Okay, was he drinking? You know, was he doing this? Was he doing that? Why did he want to stay back? They're asking all of these questions, trying to make it his own fault that he's dead. That's what they're doing, and that's what they always do. Okay, that's what they always do. Meanwhile, they didn't want any accountability for Austin Metcalf. They didn't want to admit that he was a bully. They didn't want to admit that he was the aggressor. They acted like he was just the sweetest little angel and he's a whole damn demon. Okay? He was a whole demon. But they want to try to paint a black person like that, even when they're actually the victim. Okay, that's what they do. Yeah, they were asking Lurk Squad, was he drinking? Yeah, and I'm sure that he was not because he had training coming up. Okay, and then one of the friends said that Nolan didn't drink or any of that stuff. Okay, so anyway, this is what they do. Like I said, painting narratives. Now let's go to this next clip. After this, we're going to look at some footage of Nolan and then we're out.
Do y'all see this comment? Click the comment, watch the man's video. It's a black man saying that what happened to Nolan Wells almost happened to him. And he explains the story of going out with his so-called YT friends, or white YT so-called friends, and jumping off of some bridge or waterfall or whatever into the water. They did not tell him that the current was strong. When he struggled, he was screaming for help. And they said, oh, man, you got it. And they kept walking and left him by himself to figure it out. But he kept screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. He was prepared to go home to meet his maker because he knew he wasn't going to make it. And at the last possible second, one of them came back, got him out, never said a word, and just walked away from him. In my first video on this subject, I said that these people lack humanity. They lack human empathy. I have another video in draft. I'm going to post that next. Our elders, W.E.B. Du Bois especially, wrote extensive books. Ta-Nehisi Coates, they wrote extensive books about the fact that YT-ness is a cult. And in order for you to be a member of said cult, you have to be immoral. You have to give up any true sense of morality, because you cannot be a morally good person with a soul and enslave, colonize, grape, unalive, brutalize, and dehumanize people. You cannot have a soul, you cannot have a moral code and commit the acts that they committed in Tulsa. Commit the acts that they've committed in the Caribbean, in Africa. The Belgian king, King Leopold, cut off the hands of people in the Congo. To this day, those fuckers have black hands on their doors. They serve black chocolate, dark chocolate hands.
They literally do. I'll show you all a picture in a second.
To commemorate their atrocities against people on the continent. You cannot be a good, decent person and be YT. If you identify with YT-ness, there's nothing about you that's good, decent, moral, or even human. It requires you to behave subhuman and inhumane to people. That is the only way to maintain your membership in the cult. So when this Asian person says, even I have this conversation with my kids from day one, what does that tell you? There are people, even in the so-called model minority group, who understand that when it comes to membership in the cult of YT-ness, there's nothing that they won't do to protect themselves and each other to close ranks. Isn't it interesting how all of Nolan's so-called friends have deactivated their social media and stripped their accounts down to nothing? Isn't that funny? His friends are protecting themselves, and they're going to use their YT-ness to do it. Man, teach your children. Never be the only one. Do not ever trust none of them. I don't care what they say. Because if something happens to your child, that same person who said, your kid would be safe here, I don't agree with this, we're not all the same. That same jerk, when something happens to your child, will close ranks the same way that they all do all the time.
All right. Well, she said what she said. What do you all think about that? And I have a question, and here's the chocolate hands that she was talking about. I want y'all to pay attention. They think this ish is funny, but then they have the nerve to get mad when people made jokes about Austin. Okay, but this is the kind of stuff they do. Because Leopold II murdered over 11 million people in the Congo, chopping off their hands or feet if they didn't do enough work for the day as far as he was concerned. And in some cases, not even doing it to them, but chopping off the hands and feet of their children. There is a very famous picture of a man sitting there with the foot and the hand of his child, who was about a 5-year-old girl. I think she was about 5 years old. This is the evil wickedness, but the United States had monuments of this man. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. But they act like we are defending murderers. Like they're literally the last ones who should ever accuse anyone of defending murderers, okay? Do you guys remember when Candace Owens said that with her silly self? When she said the black people, they're always praising criminals, because she was talking about George Floyd. We were not praising George Floyd, okay? At the end of the day, George Floyd was not committing a crime on the day that he died. Second of all, it was inhumane to treat him that way, even if he was a criminal or not. He wasn't some cold-blooded murderer. Okay, that's another thing. What kind of crimes do people commit? Okay, so at the end of the day, he was killed by police officers, and it was unjust. So she sounded real stupid. But if you remember, I told you all then, how's Candace going to say that after all of these monuments that they have built for murderers, okay, and genocidal maniacs and all of the above? Okay, that's the play they put on. Anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to go to this video. This is an Asian woman, and she's I've seen 2 Asian people do videos about Nolan. I showed you one the other day it was a man, but this lady right here, she's always speaking about the racism in her community or whatever. But collectively, where are the Asians? They've not come out and said anything. And I find that very interesting, because don't they say when we started to ban them, didn't a lot of them come out saying, oh, we've stood with the Black community? Yeah, when? Okay, so let's get into it then. Like I said, we're going to look at these video clips, this video clip of Nolan. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
Token friend. Nolan Wells went out with his friends. He was 18. The friends came back without him, and now they've all lawyered up and gone silent. When people are young, they might expect the best in people. They may not be able to read when people are not truly their friends. They might not understand fully the history at play. I'm horrified by what happened, and I hope that justice is done. I also wanted to express my appreciation for one of my friends who's not Asian. She's a Black woman who, when I lived in Boston, she never let me go to the train stations in the white parts of town alone. Boston is very segregated, and she made light of it. She'd be like, I don't want you to get outed. Because I didn't even really understand like what parts were white, because I hadn't gone to a lot of the outer neighborhoods. But she would drop me off at the tracks. She'd make sure that a train was coming, and only then would she leave. Asians, we should be doing this for all our people of color friends, especially our Black friends in this time. I think women as a whole generally do this a little bit more. They check in on their friends. They walk their friends to their houses. They drop their friends off to their houses. They say, hey, text me when you're home. I really invite Black, Indigenous, and people of color who are men or masculine to do this for their friends as well. I saw Nolan Wells' death. I saw the supremacists gather in huge crowds, and some unfortunate Black people and people of color got sandwiched in between them on the train and stuff. We got to have each other's backs. Rest in power, Nolan Wells, and may justice be done. Do not.
All right, so I appreciate her kind words. Now, with that all being said, Reggie says, I hate working Boston flights. They're so rude. Are they, beloved? I'm not surprised. Lurk Squad said, I'm from Boston. I grew up in Roxbury. Okay. Shout out to Boston. Actress Michelle Yeoh looking. Okay, I don't know who that actress is, beloved. Juju said, yeah, they all look out for us. Yeah, they'll look out for us when pigs fly. Juju, sit down somewhere. Okay, let's go to this clip so we can get out of here. All right, these are clips of Nolan, like I said. Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools.
Oh, may he rest in peace. That was so sad to watch. Okay, yeah, he was absolutely so full of life, Angie. You're absolutely right. And he had a mixture of friends. It seems like he had a lot of friends. Like people really loved him. Some of the people did, clearly. Okay. Those other people that were with him that day on the 4th, I don't think those people were ever his real friends. Okay. I think they were just a bunch of haters hanging out with him for their own nefarious reasons, clearly. That's just my opinion. So that all being said, he was a good guy, Queen. Yes, I absolutely think so, beloved. Okay, so prayers and condolences for his family again. May the Most High continue to strengthen his mother and father, and hopefully they will get justice because these people are absolutely lying. Okay, their stories are not adding up. Everybody's going quiet. And here's the main thing I want to say too before I close out. The judge, Ashley Cole, sat up there and said that, oh, I'm willing to talk to attorney Ben Crump and Nolan's parents as well. I went to school with Christine. Yeah, you went to school with her, but you weren't friends with her. And here's the thing. And maybe you went to school. I don't even know if she actually did. But what I'm saying is it's obvious they were not friends. But the bottom line is she's coming out publicly and making this statements for damage control. Okay, so that there's no one looking at her or her son or his friend Wyatt with suspicions. But the bottom line is if she really was serious about what she's doing and she was genuine, why hasn't she called them? Because she also said at the same time that she had not spoken to them. She had not talked to them yet. Why hasn't she talked to them? Her son Warren has their phone number. Warren's the one who called Christine at 11:07. Okay, asking about Nolan. So they clearly have the number. So why hasn't she reached out to those people to offer her condolences, to tell how sorry she is, and to offer any information that she could have? She's saying out loud that that's what she's willing to do, but you haven't done it. So I think it's all at this point just performative and just for damage control and to try to paint a narrative, just like, if you remember, Jeff Metcalf did the same thing after Austin's death when he showed up at that press conference, because now we see in hindsight who Metcalf really is. So he said he came there to pray for them. No, he didn't. And he said in the beginning, don't make it about race. You know why he said that? Because that's what people like him say when they don't want us to start poking the finger at their racism. Don't make it about race, because then the black people are going to start talking about the racism that was involved. And he knows that because he knows that he knew that he was racist and he knew that he taught his sons to be racist. That's why they got arrested for spray painting a racist graffiti. Okay. And I want to say one more thing. Speaking about that as well, I was in another TikTok live about Carmelo, and maybe we'll listen to some of that tomorrow. But there was some people, mega millions in the chats, and they were sitting up there lying, saying that Austin and his brother, that was debunked and that they didn't spray any racist graffiti. Oh, that's absolutely not true, because I was the one telling the people about it, because I could tell that they had not read the paperwork, and they definitely couldn't have read Mike Howard's affidavit where he was spilling all of the tea. Okay, because they were arguing with these racist people that were on the panel. And so that's why I got up there. And I'm like, have y'all even read what Mike Howard said in the affidavit? Okay, well, it literally says in the affidavit that Austin was the primary aggressor, and that's what the prosecutor said. And then I went on to tell them other things that were in there, and the people got so mad, the MAGA minions, they were all like, oh, no, that's not even true. Or they'd say, that's been debunked. Oh, nobody said that. There was no way they were doing racist graffiti. You see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. These people do not care about facts, proof, or evidence. They are only in these places to tell lies, to paint narratives, and to try to take over the conversation and to try to make it look as though we are the ones lying. That's why they're never welcome on my channel at all, ever, never. Whenever I see one of them in the chat talking crazy, they're already out of here. Even if they're not talking crazy, all they have to do is come in here and say something stupid, like, oh, Carmelo's guilty, or come in here and say, well, Nolan wanted to stay on the island. That kind of stuff, you're out of here, because I can already see where this is going. Okay. Now, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this night. Enjoy your strong end, not the weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
hit 'em with that flavor.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got